works with youth, and his passion is developing minds and helping other people understand. So I hope this is a blessing for you. Move forward. Hello, move forward. Hey. I said move forward. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, that's listen.
All right, thank you very much, Natalie. Good afternoon, everyone. There's more than 4 of us in here. Good afternoon, everyone. How you all doing? Good. Thank you very much for coming back. We're behind time. We're already at least 45 minutes into our time already, but we're yet to start, right? I need 3 volunteers, 3 people who want to volunteer. Please, come up. Who else? Come. Oh, all guys, please, the ladies, what's happening? None of our ladies want to volunteer? All right, come on. All right, let's make it 6. Two more ladies. Yeah, go ahead.
Uncle, are you giving out $20 if you are? I'm volunteering.
She's asking if your winner is going to get $20. This one, there's no winning. We're just going to share some ideas. Please grab one of the microphones, each person. We'll pass it on. Okay? We're going to ask a few questions. It is nothing personal to who they are, but it's just what they think about the question we're going to ask. Okay? So, now, are we ready? Let's get rolling. Now, the one on the far right of my right? Okay. What is body image? In your opinion, what is body image? If someone says that body image, what do you think? Okay, I'll share mine. Yes.
I mean, it's how you view yourself.
How you view yourself?
Yeah, how you view yourself compared to
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's please give a round of applause for that. Right. Next question. What is the ideal body image? Who want to take that one? The guys or the ladies? The guys? Okay. No, you answer that. What is an ideal body image? Yeah, go ahead. There's no right or wrong. Please go ahead. You want to answer? Go.
I don't think that there's a specific body image because everybody's created differently. So it's like,
Amen. I'll tell you what she just said is not what most of us think of ourselves though. Right? Or let me say some of us. Because there is a movement going on which is telling us how we're supposed to look, act, and talk. Okay? And we're going to get to all of that. Okay, next person. What is self-esteem?
Oh, I can answer that. I think self-esteem is like how you think of yourself, or like what lifts you up or what lifts you down.
All right, thank you very much. Can we please also talk about man, he built it so hard that he has to really build it on the table too. All right. What do you love most about yourself? Now, everyone want to answer that one.
Alright, how God created me.
How God created you?
I don't accept that.
You don't?
No.
Okay, all right. Who want to answer that one? What do you like most about yourself? Everything? Give me 2 or 1. Yes.
I'm different from everybody else.
You good what?
I'm different from everybody else.
You different from everybody else. Okay. Is your hand up? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a funny guy.
You a funny guy? Okay, we'll take that one. All right. Now, next question. Who is mentally ill?
Someone who don't think right.
Someone who don't think right? All right. That is the general perception, though. That's the general perception. And that's why we're doing this. Okay, so that we can understand some of the things that goes on with it. And who would you talk to if you needed help? And if you do, and when you talk to someone if you needed help, and if you do, who?
I would talk to my parents.
Your parents?
Like my dad.
Okay. And let's say I'm your parent. And then you come up to me and then talk about how depressed you are, right? Or you're having some anxiety issues. What do you think my reaction would be?
I feel like if it was like someone else, they would think I'm playing.
Okay.
But like as my dad, like he understands it.
Okay. All right. Thank you all. Thanks for coming up. Thanks for our Thank you very much. So at this point, we're going to talk about body image and mental illness, right? Or mental health. How our body image plays a role in how we see ourselves. As one of the guys mentioned, self-esteem is how high or how low we feel about ourselves. So, however we feel about ourselves is going to impact our body image, right? Or our body image is going to impact how we feel about ourselves. And then how we feel about ourselves is going to make us act in one way or the other. And how we feel about ourselves is going to make us react one way or the other to circumstances. And how we do all of these can manifest in one way or the other as mental health conditions. So the goal for this presentation is for us to first see what self-esteem is, 2, look at what body image is, and then 3, look at how self-esteem and body image affect our mental health, and then the 4th one is what the media is telling us that our body image should be like. Okay, so are we ready? Alright, so please I need some feedback. Whenever I ask a question, please answer me so that I know you're still awake and staying engaged. Okay, so are we ready? Yes. Alright, so now let's talk about the stages of life as prescribed to us by Erickson. Okay, so Erickson says that everyone in life, whether the young and the old, we all go through these stages. So from when we are born, which is from the ages of 0 to 18 months, we go through the trust and mistrust, and then we go through all of these until we get to the identity versus identity confusion, which is from the ages of 13 to 21. Okay, so that is where we are right now. So we are at that age, and then from there we go to the intimacy versus isolation, and then we go to the integrity versus despair, which is the very last one. I skipped some in there for a reason. We're only here to talk more of identity versus identity confusion, because that is where we belong. Okay? Alright, so now let's get to some of the things when we talk about identity versus role confusion. It is prescribed to us that anyone around this age will have, they will tend to find out who they are versus who the society sees them to be. So at this point in life, what we are doing is trying to identify ourselves. What we're trying to do is to really find out if we are that funny guy. Right? And that's why I asked those questions. What we're trying to do is to find out if really we are that shy person or it was circumstantial. What you're trying to do is to really find out if you're that outgoing person. What you're really trying to do is to challenge some of the things that you are faced with to really determine whether, yes, you are that person or you're not. And that is the stage in which we are right now. They become rebellious as they don't want to fit in the status quo. Right? So your actions of, please, let's come in and sit down and you going out, that is exactly what you're doing. Okay? Because you don't want to be that obedient person that follows instructions as they are given. Therefore, you want to rebel to anything that is said. And that is a manifestation of whether you identify yourself or you're confused with your role. And the reason why I was saying you are confused with your role is you came to youth camp for a reason. And when you were coming, you knew very well that you were going to be attending seminars. Yet you don't want to sit in the hall. So you are very confused at this point. Right? Okay, so let's keep going. They tend to join cliques or pods. At this point is where you think that being cool means that being part of this association. Being cool means that you have to be doing things like the things that society really frowns upon. So you find a group of people that you think that make you feel good. They make you feel okay. They make you feel powerful. They make you feel like you belong to a certain association. And that is when you try to join into one of those groups. And a peer influence is the biggest thing of it all. Most of the things that we're doing here and anywhere else that we find ourselves, most of the time is based on what a friend said. True or false? True. Okay. Some people acknowledge it and thank you for your sincerity. For those who are still in denial, please hang in there with me, and by the time we're done, you'll be in acceptance. Okay? So now, if you're still in denial, yesterday, let me give you a typical example. There were two guys that were going out, and then I told them to come back in. It was in the evening. They paused for a second, and they started moving again towards outside. So I stopped them and asked this question, and this is what I want you all to also think about. The question I asked them is, in the next 5 to 10 years, you'll be doing what I'm doing right now. You will be providing guidance to the younger one. If someone is to do that, and then you tell them to go in, I'm not doing anything harmful to you. All I'm saying is, please go sit in there, we have 5 minutes to finish, and you can go. And you still walk out on me. What are you trying to say? Would you be happy if someone did that to you? I tell you what, one of the guys came back, the other one still went up. He's still confused. Right? Okay. Yesterday afternoon, when I was coming from Humanities down here, there were a group of 4 guys who were walking down, and I heard one of them say, it's not that we've not done anything bad before. What you guys are talking about, I've done it all before. At this time, I just want to be a good guy and not be doing that anymore. Which means that the peers are trying to get him to do something that he doesn't want to do. If you're one of those 4, you know yourself. Right? And it happens all the time. Our peers always try to get us to do things that we really do not want to do. But then they'll convince us. They'll find reasons for us to do all of those. And having a low self-esteem really does lead to some personality disorders. And we're going to get into some of the personality disorders that you can have when you have a low self-esteem. Now, let's talk about body image. So when we said that body image, some of our friends gave us a very good description or their definition or their thinking of what body image is. But then, the mental picture of yourself and the way you see yourself in the mirror. So this is not just about physical. This is mentally how you see yourself. And we're talking about conscious and unconscious efforts here. Consciously, I do know that I'm about 6 feet, right, with a pot belly and going bald. Consciously, that is what I do know. Because that I cannot deny. Okay? I don't have the 6-pack like some of my friends do. Mine is just right now 0. Okay? I just pray that I don't get into negative, but still, I'm working on it. Alright? Okay. So, consciously, that is what I know myself to be, or that's who I know myself to be. Subconsciously, what I do also know that I'm a very shy person, and please do not get me in front of people. Alright? You might wonder why I'm talking here and then saying that. It was a journey, and we might talk about that. Okay? Subconsciously, I also feel like I do not speak too well. Subconsciously, there are so many things about myself that sometimes when I'm alone, I start to think about. Okay? And we all go through that. We all do that all the time. Whether you do know it or you don't know it, you do it. There are times where you do something expecting a certain result, and you do not get that particular result. You start to question yourself. Has it ever happened to anyone in here? Has it ever? Please speak up so that people know. Yes? Okay. So what is happening is, consciously, this is what I wanted to do. Consciously, this is who I believe I am. But subconsciously, something is telling me that, man, you're a failure. You know good. You amount to nothing. Right? So those things that's happening to us. And the way we see ourselves, consciously and subconsciously or unconsciously, is part of how we build our body image. Therefore, I'm going to tell you that accept the way you look, and what you see in the media is not real. We will talk about the effect of Hollywood and the media on how we see our body image. But then think about it as we go along. Please continue to think about some of the things that you've seen in the media in regards to body image, and when we get to that point, I will need your feedback. Don't try to change your body to fit a certain look. Now, what I mean by that is, as I was addressing earlier, right now having the waves is the cool thing, right? So everybody puts on their mirror to make sure that the waves don't get messed up. Right? And then for the guys, having that six-pack is the cool thing. So you got to be in the gym and work out, right? You're not working out to make sure that you're releasing stress and the endorphins are working and then you're having a good mood. Why you're working out is to make sure that you have that six-pack, right? But then the truth is, someone like me, I cannot change that. You know why? Because I've undergone a hernia surgery and I cannot be lifting certain amount of weight. Right? But then, if I really want to be looking cool, I don't care if I'm going to rupture that. I'm still going to lift. Because I got to look cool and have that six-pack. Right? But then I do that, and then I got to go through another surgery in 3 months because now you ruptured it. And then you go through the surgery, and then go through the recovery stage, and you got to get more belt belly than you currently have. Right? So what you're doing is, you're just cycling through, and then it's not making you any better about yourself. So if you have the capacity to do anything, please go ahead and do it. But if you cannot do it, please do not force it. For our ladies, right now the image in there, and I'm going to show you some pictures of what I mean. There is certain image that is being shown to you each day, which tells you that that is the good image that you're supposed to have. Right? But then what I'm trying to get to is, it's okay to work out. It is very important. It's good for your health. It is very good for your health. But please do not work out with the intent of being like this or like that. Because one thing I want you to take out from here, if nothing else, is to understand the fact that you are wonderfully and fearfully made in the image of God. For that reason, it is okay to be very different. It is okay that I don't have the kind of stature that Caleb has. It is okay that I do not look like Michael. It is okay because my name is not Michael. Right? My name is Philip. And that's what it's going to be until I die. Therefore, I got to be Philip till I die. Okay? Now, recognize your qualities and strengths. I did share this yesterday in the other class. For me, I do know my weaknesses. Therefore, I'm master at my qualities. Anytime you find me anywhere with any group of people, what I'm trying to do is first understand the group that I'm with, and two, know what I can do to improve the group. So what I'm doing at that point is making sure that anything at all that goes on in that group, if it comes to where I have specialized, you cannot finish the meeting without my input. You cannot. Because that is something that I do know so well that when I speak about it, I am speaking on authority. You can have some doubt, but you cannot question what I'm saying. Okay? So know your strength. If you're a basketball player, please be a good one. Do not do anything halfway. That is why the Bible says that those who are lukewarm, he's going to spit them out of his mouth, right? So do not be botrobodo. If you're going to be warm, be warm. If you're going to be cold, be cold. So master your strength. And once you do that, that becomes your selling proposition. So I don't need you to tell me who Philip is, because I already know. If you want to list my weaknesses, please be my guest, because I can list more than you ever know. If you want to list my strength, please, let's go on it. Okay? So please know your worth. Know what you're good at and master it. Look way beyond your weight, your height, and your shape. Because body image is way beyond appearance. Right? It is not how I look, but then it is who I am. Now, certain things will fade away. Certain things will definitely go away. When I see you guys with all those afro, right? I miss all those good old days, man. My afro was so much that I always had an afro comb, if you guys know what that is. I always had an afro comb in my hair during my youth camp days. Right? Yeah, a bit. I always had that in my hair during my youth camp days. That is how much hair I had. Right now, times have changed. Old boys going bored, man. You know, that's how life is. It's still okay. It's still okay. I'm not worried. I see people always be like, man, why don't you dye your hair, make it look black? I'm like, dude, why? Have you ever seen any board man who is poor before? Probably this is when my money is going to start coming. Why do you want me to fake it? Then my money to be faking, right? So that's on the lighter side. But on a serious note, certain things are going to go away. The way you look is going to change. You didn't look the same way when you were younger. You're not going to look the same way when you get older. So certain things are definitely going to go away. As she said, my favorite sport is soccer. I used to play at minimum 4 days a week. Right now, old age is catching up with me. My knees is not as strong as it used to be. Last week I tried to be, fit, went to play, ankle injury, now out. Right? So that's what old age does to you, and you're going to come there. You understand? So that is life. But one thing that will stay with you is your integrity. One thing that will stay with you forever is how you see yourself. One thing that will stay with you forever is the self-esteem that you have. Regardless of your looks, regardless of your current situation, you're always going to be who you are. So let's live with that one, and that's how people want us to look or see ourselves. Now, we talk about body image, and let's remember the topic, self-esteem and mental illness, right? And how to overcome low self-esteem. The value and respect you have for yourself is the same way people are going to respect and put value on you. Hello? Hello? If you see yourself to amount to nothing, please trust me. I'm not going to trust in you. Okay? If you see yourself to be someone that is worth nothing, why do you think that Michael is the one that is going to have some good value in you? If you think that you cannot do X, Y, or Z, why do you think that Akwese Champo is the one that is really going to force you to do that? There are so many things that we think that we cannot do. We think inferior of ourselves. Therefore, if someone is to tell you that, man, you're no good, then you believe it. But as I said earlier, you can tell me I'm no good 100 times, and I'll keep believing that I'm up to something. Because I've been told this so many times. When I went to start my bachelor's program, and I had just come from Ghana. I come from Ghana 3 years after. I did my associate first. Went to do my bachelor's program. The dean of the program, the nursing department, told me that I cannot work full-time and go to school full-time, so I have to quit one. I told them, Dr. Paulie, please give me the chance. In 3 years, if I ever have a C in any class, drop me. That's the challenge, let's put it up. And I tell you what, to the glory of God, I did work full-time every single time and still completed the 4-year program in 3.5 years with a major and a minor. Let nobody tell you what you can and cannot do. I was told that I cannot be the director of nursing because my asset is too thick. But then when the opportunity came up and somebody recommended me, of course I didn't give all the excuses for which I could not do it, because I did believe that my asset was so bad that the Americans are not going to understand me. But then I've been doing it for 2.5 years now and still going. I was told that you cannot do that busy schedule and also go to school. But once again, praise to be to the Almighty God. I still went to school full time, had kids along the way, and still married. She didn't divorce me through the period because I didn't have time for her. But of course, I didn't have time for her. But she still stayed with me, right? So still married, had 3 kids along the way, and now I'm done with my master's program. Please let nobody disappoint you. Let nobody tell you what you can and cannot do. Believe in yourself. If it is not for you to take on too much, please do not do it also. The point I'm trying to make is know who you are and believe in yourself. Okay? The self-value that you have for yourself is the same measure with which people are going to measure you. Your value impacts how you take care of yourself emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So when you don't believe in yourself, when you don't think that you're that worthy, what you're going to do is you don't really care about how you look. Right? Because you think that you're not worth that much. You think that you don't have any value in you. Therefore, why would you care how you look? Whether you combed your hair or not. Whether your shirt is ironed or not. Whether you're tacking or untacking. It depends on what you wear. Right? So, the way you see yourself will be how you feel emotionally, physically, and mentally. Therefore, if you feel that you're so not worthy, I've had patients who come to the clinic and be like, I don't want to live anymore. Those words, anytime I hear, I really feel sick to my stomach. And I don't know if anybody in here has a friend that has said that before, or a relative that have thought about that before, or if you have done that yourself before. It is some words that you do not want to ever hear. But unfortunately, I do hear that on a regular basis. It is very disheartening. And for someone like that, the most difficult part about treating a patient like that is that they themselves don't believe in themselves. So what am I going to tell you for you to be convinced? Right? So the way you see yourself, the way you believe in yourself, the way you carry yourself makes a huge impact in the way others are going to look and also view you. Now, what low self-esteem does to us, and this is where the mental illness comes in, or our mental health becomes porous because of our low self-esteem. What it does to us is we start having poor relationship with others. And I'm talking about relationship with our parents, relationship with our siblings, relationship with our family, relationship with our friends, and relationships at church also. Let me tell you how it starts. When you were younger, or even up to now, you're very stubborn, you don't listen. Therefore, your parents starts like this. Right? You heard it before, haven't you? Right? Okay. So they start to play on who you are. So they start with those words. You're not worth anything. And then you cannot even get this thing done. And you cannot even accomplish that. Please, the last time your mom or dad uses those words, please let them know you're worth more than that. And show it. Okay? So you show it by doing what you have to do. Right? So that is how it starts. And then you also start believing after time. This is how the mind works. Anything at all that you preview to, after a period of time, no matter what your belief is, after some time you're going to believe in that. If you doubt it, if you've ever been addicted to anything or got into any game, anything at all, the very first time that you started, it could be food. The very first time that you started, it wasn't your favorite. Right? But then as time went on, as you kept doing it, it became. In the same way, there are certain things that you saw to be wrong. After continuous exposure from your friend, that's where the peer pressure comes in. After continuous exposure, then you start to accept that to be the norm. And that is what we call normalization and rationalization. So you start to rationalize the issue. You think about it, oh, even the Bible says that it's not about your intent. It's about the intent and not about how you look, right? It says that what comes out of the body is what defiles us, not what goes in, so I can eat anything, right? But then I also want to tell you that garbage in, garbage out. So what goes in is what you produce. So those brings poor relationships because you feel inferior about yourself to the extent that you even want to associate with certain level of people that you think have a higher self-esteem, or people that you see them to be the good-looking one. Right? So those affect our relationships. It also leads to addiction because we use those things that we are addicted to as a sign of relief. So somebody turns to using drugs because they feel like nobody really recognizes them. They don't have the impetus, they don't have the drive to be in front of stage. So what they have to do is they got to use something to be able to come off stage. And if you've ever heard or if you've ever seen the singers, the movie stars, any of them going through an addiction is because of that. Because they were told that you have to stay high to be able to perform on stage. Therefore, they tend to start using drugs, and by the time you realize they're hooked on them. You feel that your body image is so low to the extent that you have to look a certain shape before you get there. For that reason, you don't want to eat. And then by the time you realize you are anorexic. Are you following? You feel like you have to look a certain way, therefore you have to put on weight. And then you start eating, and then you bump into a food that tastes so good, and then you get hooked onto it, and then you eat, and by the time you realize, you become a binge eater. And then you realize that, no, I screwed up, now I gotta lose some. And then you start trying to eat because it still tastes good, but then you want to throw up so that it doesn't stay in, and then you become bulimic. Okay, these are eating disorders. So, because of your low body self-esteem or because of your low self-image, you tend to indulge in certain things that you should not be indulging in. I told you this, and I told them yesterday in the 18 plus group too. Now, I've spent so much on my footwear and my clothing. I brought it to camp meeting because I knew I wanted to kill it, right? So you want all those your friends to see you and be like, man, James, you killed it. So after investing all that into your outfit, and then you walk from that dormitory, like 0.5 miles, right? And then you walk all the way down here, you meet all your friends, and you make sure that they see you. So you see them coming from afar, hey, what's up, man? Hey, what's up, man? You try to make sure that you are recognized. And in all of these, nobody said, man, you look good. Right? So what happens is like, man, didn't they recognize me? Didn't they see how I look? Man, this is TH, man. And then they start counting, right? All the levels that they have on. Then you're like, man, I'm so disappointed. Then there's the worst part too. You take a picture and they go put it on Instagram or Facebook. And then you're expecting that people are really going to comment and like those pictures, right? And then you wake up the next day and then you only have 2 likes. Right? They're like, golly. Right? I know 2 is a stretch though. Yesterday when I said that, somebody was like, they need new friends. So 2 might be a stretch, but the point I'm trying to make is, those things are some of the things that subconsciously affects how you see yourself. Because I felt like I really killed it. From my curls and the weave on the Brazilian hair to the nails and everything else. And really, I only got 2 likes on Instagram and maybe 1 love on Facebook. And nobody shared it. Right? And then you start to be like, oh man, and then you start to question yourself. And that is how your subconscious mind is telling you or building your worth in yourself. So look beyond that. Let's not look for appreciation and acceptance from others, because once again, you are wonderfully and fearfully made in the image of God. What these also happen is it leads you to depression. As I already mentioned, you didn't get the compliment that you wanted, you didn't get the likes that you wanted, so you start to question yourself, and after a while, by the time you realize you're depressed over this issue. right? Because now you tend to accept that I do not look that good. That is why people are not complimenting me or liking my pictures. Then you start to question who you are. And by the time you realize, you're depressed. And it's not just from this. It could be from school, it could be a stress from anywhere. Right? And stress comes in so many forms. So it could be any form of stress, and it can send you easily to depression. It can also lead to anxiety. The reason why I did not like public speaking when I was younger, about your age or a bit less than that, was the fact that one, I staggered a little bit when I was growing up, and then two, I always knew I was going to flunk. I always knew I was going to mess up, and someone is going to laugh at me. For that reason, please do not get me in front of more than 2 people. And I'm serious. When I was like between the ages of 10 to 16, if you put me before more than 2 people, and they are not my siblings, direct siblings, it doesn't have to be cousins, direct siblings, and they are more than 2, you're not getting a word from me. So when I come in here and then we ask for people to pray or people to do something, and I get that response, I can relate, I understand. Because mine was not even more than 5 people. Give me 2, and that's it. If you go beyond, we're done. I'm not talking anymore. Until, thanks to the Adventist Youth Society, the AYS, the Pathfinder that we have, and then sometimes you really don't have that choice. You don't have that luxury to choose whether you're going to do it or not. So there were a few occasions where I had to do it. And after facing my fear and getting over my anxiety, then I'm able to do what I'm doing right now. It still might not be perfect, but at least I'm doing it. Okay? So that can definitely lead us into anxiety. And there are so many forms of anxiety also. There is social anxiety where you don't want to be in public. There is the fear of you being alone. There's the fear of you being in the house. There's a fear of you going somewhere where you think that there's no escape, which is agoraphobia, right? And then sometimes you can also have a panic attack with no reason. So we're talking about self-esteem and body image. So all of these can definitely lead us into various personality disorders or mental illnesses. So the next one is avoidant behavior. You want to avoid everybody else. You know why? Because you think that you're going to say something that you're not going to get their approval. Therefore, you don't want to do it. Or you can get dependent behavior, where you depend on somebody else who you believe that can do everything for you. And my person that I was dependent on was my junior brother. If any of you knows who my junior brother is, he goes by Junior. He is the most talkative person you will ever meet. And he doesn't need more than 2 seconds to be a friend with you. He just meets you and he starts going. And he is that social. I wasn't. So if you want to talk to me, if you wanted to say anything to me, you have to go through me. Right? And I depended on him for almost everything, including the kind of school I wanted to go. So if you look at both of ours, every school that I have been to, he has been to, except one. Because when I grew, I knew I didn't need that anymore, and I started to choose for myself. Okay? So that can also send you to be dependent on people. And we already talked about eating disorders. So that definitely is an issue. Now, we talked about some of the problems. It will be no good if I don't give you any solution to it. Therefore, let's talk about how to develop a good self-esteem. As I mentioned, know your worth. Know what you're good at. Know something that nobody can question you on. And master that thing. The other thing is know that, once again, you are wonderfully and fearfully made in the image of God. How many? Who can tell me how many times I've said that? Wonderfully and fearfully made in the image of God, not including this one. How many times have I said it so far? Okay, minus what I just said. 3? Who said 3? Correct. What church are you from? No, go ahead. Because at the end of the presentation, I have something for you. What church are you from?
First Nova.
First Nova? Okay, alright. I like to give incentives, so if I'm doing anything, pay attention. Yesterday somebody got $20. Today you don't know what you're going to get. And we're not done yet, so let's pay attention. Okay, listen. I've said that 3 times because I'm really trying to nail that in. Okay? So, you are wonderfully and fearfully made in the image of God, therefore know your value. The next thing is good diet and exercise. Yes, you do not want to be doing that with the sole purpose of looking like someone, but then exercise, no two ways about it, is very good for our health. It prevents so many other conditions from happening to us, especially medical conditions and also some psychiatric conditions. Therefore, exercise is good. You are what you eat, therefore if you eat garbage, you're going to be acting like one, okay? Because there are some foods that you can eat and then it will make you hyper. And we know some of those, right? Too much sugar definitely can, among others. Therefore, let's eat well, let's exercise, and let's be healthy. And that way, it can build our self-esteem and also build our emotions also and our mental health. Meditation and faith, that is huge. Faith makes a difference. There are so many people who commit suicide because they do not know who they belong to. And let's not forget, we are here as NAGSDA youth. Therefore, we do know a God that created you and I. And that God is the one that made us in His image. Therefore, for that faith that we have, it will be very difficult for you to try to commit suicide or take your life. Okay? For that reason, it will be very difficult, if not impossible. I showed a video in the other class that I just did of people from the ages of 7 to 13 who have committed suicide. 7 years to 13, or younger than you, who have committed suicide. It is very pathetic, but then, because of our faith, we do know that there are certain things that we do not have to do. But then where faith and meditation also gets in the way is where we fail to seek treatment and put everything in because of our faith. From where we come from, right? You can associate with that because you are of Ghanaian descent. If anyone is to have any mental condition, the first thing that is said is that it is spiritual. Have you ever heard it before? Yes. And because of that, they're not going to seek treatment. But then when they get diabetes, they rush to the nearest clinic. Why is that one not spiritual? Somebody told me that the Bible says that we're not fighting against flesh and blood, but against spirits and principalities, right? Okay, I agree, that is true. But he did not say that those spirits and principalities are only going to bring more mental conditions. So why do we always associate mental conditions with spiritual powers and not seek help? So let's not have our faith get in our way of treatment. The same way that you go for treatment for your asthma attack or any of those, please seek treatment when you have any condition like that. I tell you what, it is okay to have a therapist and to have Christ. Did we get that? It is okay to have a therapist and to have Christ. There is nothing wrong with it that I seek treatment. That does not make me a failure. That does not make me any less of a person. That makes me someone that is wanting to take care of themselves. Now, keeping a good company is very huge because of peer pressure that we run to, and then helping others. That is definitely a good one there. What happens is, I don't feel like I have enough, whatever it is. I'm not talking about just money, whatever it is. You feel like you don't have enough, therefore you feel like you cannot give any to anybody else. But then one thing I want to present to you today is, you do not need thousands to give hundreds. You do not need hundreds to give tens. You do not need tens to give singles. Whatever you have, please share with others. What I'm doing right now and what I've decided to do for the rest of my life is to help to develop others. I do not have much. Really, I'm not close to one of the smartest that are out there. I'm not close to one of the experts in mental health. But what I do know is there's a bit that I do know that others do not have. Therefore, I want to share with them. What I do know is I've suffered from having low self-esteem before. Therefore, I I want to also help others who have no self-esteem. Okay, so that is what I have, and that is what I freely give. I'm not rich yet, but when I'm rich, I also give money, right? But did you guys get that? No? Yes, because you don't need to be rich to give money. I was trying to see if you guys will follow. Okay? So that is how it is. Whatever you have, whatever you can, please help others with it. And once you do that, it boosts your morale. It boosts your self-esteem. It makes you believe in yourself that, yes, I'm also able to impact the life of somebody else. Now, the next thing is dressing. Once we don't believe in ourselves, and the media in the world is telling us that this is how to look, then we tend to also follow suit. Therefore, you dress inappropriately to be accepted. Because I don't believe much in myself, therefore I have to dress how people will see me versus how people will see the value in me. It is not a coincidence that nowadays everything we wear has to be revealing. It is not a coincidence. And I'm going to brush you down right now, but then we'll get to it more later. Now, the other thing is accept compliments. If somebody says you look good, just say thank you. Don't question why they say you're looking good because you think you don't look good. Okay? Because you think you don't look good, they tell you look good and you're like, oh, really? Sorry. Alright? So accept compliments and then that will also help. Some of the benefits, emotional and physical well-being. You feel good about yourself, and that's why I named my services Feel Good Services. Because the way you feel makes a difference in whatever that you do. The way you feel makes a difference in how you even present. So you have to feel good about yourself, and having a good self-esteem makes you feel good about yourself. You have a happier relationship, you have a better life and a fulfilling career. Because you do not believe in yourself, everybody is telling you that this is what's the best thing for you to do. I know very well that I'm not the best in math. I know very well I'm not good at accounting. Let's say I know very well that I'm not good at chemistry and biology. But then I was told that medicine is the most paying and most assuring job that you can do. Okay? But then the truth is, I can get medicine, I probably will not get through 10 years. And it's 8 years, right? Is it 8? It's 8 years. I probably will not get through 3rd year. And what would that do to me? I'm going to come back home with student loans, no degree. And then what happens is I'm going to be thinking about that and then get depressed from the fact that I'm a disappointed doctor. Okay? So find what you're good at and chase your dream. If you are good at playing music, please do that. It's always good to be educated in what you do there also. That way you can prove it and then do it better. So it also leads to fulfilling careers. It also helps with recovery because if you're addicted to anything at all, and Pastor J did talk about some of it, other speakers will be talking about some other addictions. If you're addicted to anything at all, it helps with recovery because you know where you're going. And then respect for yourself and others, and when you fall, make it a dance move. You can tweet that. When you fall, make it a dance move. If at any point in time I tend to have any challenges, I see it to be part of the journey, right? If we play music right now and then I keep dancing and in rhythm, and then I stumble and fall, if I stay on the ground, you all will know that I fell. And it goes like, oh. But if I fall on the ground and then roll 1, 2, and then get on my knee and then break it up a little bit and stand up, you might think the guy is still dancing, right? But really, I'm suffering. So in life, anytime you fall, make it part of the dance move. So I'm going board right now, but it's part of my dance move right now. Right? I'm getting 2-pack, but it's part of my dance move. Okay? So I'm never going to stop and then make that a problem. Now let's talk about this and then we'll look at some pictures real quick and then we'll wrap it up. Now this is how the cycle works. So when you have a low body, if you have a low self-esteem, you do not feel confident in yourself, but if you have a high self-esteem, you feel confident and capable, and you place realistic expectations on yourself and others, and you respect yourself also. And that will tie into your mental health, and then you make time to take care of yourself, even when you are dealing with difficult feelings or situations. right? And then you know that you can start working to solve problems. And what that also does to you is you can handle disappointment or difficult feelings. And then you also know and then reflect on your work. Things may not be 100% at all times, and that is okay. That is the second thing I want you to take out. It is okay to look different. It is okay for you to feel sometimes. It is okay for things not to go right. How many of us have heard about Abraham Lincoln? All of us? Or Abraham Lincoln? All of us, right? Okay. Do you know how many times he had to write his common entrance exams? Those days they called it, after A-level, the exams that they wrote. Do you know how many times he had to write it? Anyone? 7 times. 7 times. He failed 6 times. He passed the 7th time. But yet, he became one of the best lawyers and also the American president.